Hello, I'm Saeeda Akila Ali, and I welcome you to Coping Strategies for Healthcare Workers Working with Refugees and Other Displaced Persons, Part 2. I'm a medical student at the University of Illinois at Chicago, and I'm also a part of the Center for Global Health. We partner with MedGlobal at several sites across the world. We know that across the world, healthcare workers are at the front lines of taking care of patients. During this COVID-19 outbreak, they are worried about getting exposed, they're worried about their families. They might not have enough equipment. Despite all this, they are trying to support their patients. This is an extraordinarily difficult position to be in. We thank you for all your work. We want to offer some strategies that might help you take care of yourself so that you can be most helpful for your patients. In our first webinar, we discussed how to recognize signs of stress, as well as discussing a few strategies on individual and family-based coping with stress. In this second webinar, we will again discuss one strategy for managing stress for families and a few strategies for managing stress for individuals. Communication and staying connected. When one person in the family has anxiety, it affects everyone. If you are like a lot of other families, no one talks about it. Families find all kind of reasons not to talk about it. Some of these reasons may include you don't know how to explain it to one another. It's too painful to talk about. You might feel weak, shameful, or embarrassed. You might be afraid that others will find out and it will hurt your family's reputation. We believe that spouses and parents and children should talk openly and directly about their stress and mental health. This can be a very stressful topic, but it is not too stressful to talk about. Not talking takes the power away from you and puts it in the hands of fear and anxiety. Here are some of the most important points to remember when having this discussion. Remember that anyone can start this conversation. Plan for the right time and place to have this talk. Once you have decided to have a conversation, sit down and set some ground rules with your family. These can include things like, I will finish listening to what you have to say before responding, or everyone will take turns to talk. Pay attention to how the other person is responding. Devote your full attention to the person who is speaking. This is not a time to be looking at phones, television, or other distractions. Go slowly. Use grounding, a technique we will talk about later in this video, or use a break if you feel yourself getting emotional. Continuation of our tips. Be honest, yet hopeful. Encourage sharing and asking questions. However, also be respectful of boundaries and that some questions may not be answered. Explain symptoms you are having and how you are learning to cope. These are the important points for how to have this conversation and how to listen. Some key messages to remember is that you are not to blame. It is okay to ask for help from friends and family. Remember the love and support. Remind yourself. Self-care strategies exist and you can use those to make yourself feel better. Helpful treatments are available if you need them. You need to maintain routines. Take care of yourself, work and school, fun activities and family rituals and routines, including one-on-one time. You need to listen and consider the other person's point of view while also expressing your own. We should seek to understand the other and then be understood. In stressful situations, It is easy to only think about being understood, but if we wish to be instruments of peace in our families, we must seek to understand, then to be understood. By telling the right people and suggesting ways for loved ones to help, you can start building a strong social support network. At first, you might be afraid to talk about your experiences, but don't give up looking for support and encouragement from others. You will discover that many people want to help you. Now, we will go on to talk about a few more individualized strategies to manage stress. The first in this series is progressive muscle relaxation. Once you have set aside the time and place for relaxation, slow down your breathing and give yourself permission to relax. We know, as we discussed in the earlier webinar, that our bodies hold a lot of stress in the muscles. So this technique will help us loosen the stress in our muscles and help them relax. When you are ready to begin, tense the muscle group described. Make sure you can feel the tension, but not so much that you feel a great deal of pain. Keep the muscle tense for approximately 5 seconds. Then relax the muscle and keep it relaxed for approximately 10 seconds. It may be helpful to say something like relax as you relax the muscles. When you have finished the relaxation procedure, remain seated for a few more moments, allowing yourself to become alert. Okay, so the sequence we will follow begins. First, do your right hand and forearm. Make a fist with your right hand. Then do right upper arm. Bring your right forearm up to your shoulder to make a muscle. Then the left hand and forearm. Then the left upper arm. Then your forehead. Raise your eyebrows as high as they will go, as though you were surprised by something. Next, your eyes and cheeks. Squeeze your eyes tight shut. Next, your mouth and jaw. Open your mouth as wide as you can, as you might when you're yawning. Next, your neck. Be careful as you tense these muscles. Face forward and then pull your head back slowly, as though you are looking up to the ceiling. And remember, as you tense these muscles for 5 seconds, be sure to repeat it by relaxing it for 10 seconds. After the neck, we will move on to the shoulders. Tense the muscles in your shoulders as you bring your shoulders up towards your ears and then relax. Then tense your shoulder blades and back. Push your shoulder blades back, trying to almost touch them together so that your chest is pushed forward. And then relax. Next, tighten your chest and stomach. Breathe in deeply, filling your lungs and chest with air. Then relax. Next, tense your hips and buttocks. Squeeze your buttock muscles. Then relax. Next, tighten your right upper thigh. Tighten your right thigh. Then relax. Next, tighten your right lower leg. Do this slowly and carefully to avoid cramps. Pull your toes towards you to stretch the calf muscle and relax. Next, repeat on your right foot. Curl your toes downwards and then relax. Next, repeat this in your left upper leg like you did for your right upper leg. Then repeat on your left lower leg. Then your left foot. Repeat like you did for your right foot. And then sit for a few minutes as you allow yourself to bring back to alertness and to move on with your day. The next strategy we're going to discuss is called grounding. The simplest grounding technique is to describe your surroundings using all of your senses. Describe in some detail what you see and hear. For example, I am sitting on a wooden chair at my kitchen table. I can hear a radio playing outside. It sounds like nice music from Syria. I can also hear the dog barking parking on the street, air conditioner, and my tummy rumbling. Use your sense of smell to add if you can. I can smell leftovers I had for lunch and my shampoo. Touch is a very important part of grounding because we direct it actively and it conveys information in a way that can really grab our attention. Touch objects around you and describe them, like their texture and color. For example, the table in front of me is cool to the touch and solid. You should practice grounding whenever you are feeling distress, such as if you remember some traumatic event or if you feel anxious. In order to practice our grounding techniques, we need just a quiet space and some time in our hands. Next, we are going to move on to mindful meditation. Choose a natural object from within your immediate environment and focus on watching it for a minute or two. This can be a flower or an insect or even the clouds or the moon. Don't do anything except notice the thing you are looking at. Simply relax into watching for as long as your concentration allows. Look at this object as if you are seeing it for the first time. Visually explore every aspect of its formation and allow yourself to be consumed by its presence. Allow yourself to connect with its purpose within the natural world. When you are done after a minute or two, bring yourself back to the present. Another strategy we're going to discuss is body scan meditation. Similar to mindful meditation, this focuses your attention on your own body. Begin by bringing your attention into your body. You can close your eyes if that is comfortable for you. You can notice your body seated wherever you're seated, feeling the weight of your body on the chair, on the floor. Take a few deep breaths. And as you take a deep breath, bring in more oxygen, enlivening the body. And as you exhale, have a sense of relaxing more deeply. You can try some of the deep breathing techniques we talked about in the first webinar. You can notice your feet on the floor. Notice the sensations of your feet touching the floor, the weight and pressure, vibration, or heat. You may notice your legs against the chair. Feel the pressure, the heaviness or lightness of your legs resting against the chair. Notice your back against the chair. Bring your attention into your stomach area. If your stomach is tense or tight, let it soften. Take a breath. Notice your hands. Are your hands tense or tight? See if you can allow them to soften. Notice your arms. Any sensation in your arms. Let your shoulders be soft. Notice your neck and throat. Let them be soft. Relax. Soften your jaw. Let your face and facial muscles be soft. Then notice your whole body present. Take one more breath. Be aware of your whole body as best as you can. Take a deep breath. And then when you're ready, you can open your eyes and bring yourself back to the present. We hope these techniques and those discussed in the first webinar will be helpful to you in reducing and coping with your stress. Again, we thank you for all your work, and we also thank you for listening to the webinar. Here is our contact information. We look forward to chatting with you. Thank you.